Good afternoon, Kiwanians. How's everybody doing today? My mic sounds really hot. Do I sound too loud? Okay. I see lots of thumbs up. That's what I like to see. Thanks, Milton. We have so
What
many
happens in my picture?
to see this room filled almost to capacity for
John,
lunch.
mute yourself. Push on the mute button. We don't want to hear you.
105th year, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you here today. First up, we're going to start with our call for introspection and Pledge of Allegiance from Joyce Montgomery, and then Pegram Johnson will introduce our guests.
Good afternoon. If you've ever been charged with this particular job, you know how things go through your head, like, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. What is this? Oh, it's Valentine's. Maybe I could do something about Valentine's. And then this morning, it hit me. We are deep diving into PayPad, which is Kiwanis Pancake and Auction Day. I think we should lift up PayPad today. It is one of our, I call it the heart of Kiwanis, serving others. It's where we will serve breakfast to our community. It's where we will gain money so we can give scholarships and help people in our community. So with the blessing of the group, I think we should lift up KPAD today because we have started on that journey. So as part of that committee, there's one thing we don't really want to hear because we're a team and we're a unit. So when you're asked, I hope you smile and say, sure, because I don't want to hear, that's not my job. So this is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Joyce didn't tell you she's organizing that fundraiser this year, and I think the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Good afternoon. I'm Pegram Johnson, and I am pleased to say that when Harry asked club members to bring guests to this week's meeting, everybody was listening. So we have 15 guests with us today, and I'm going to ask the guests to stand up when I call their name, along with their Kiwanis sponsor. Now, everybody didn't check in as a group, so we're going to have some Kiwanis sponsors with several guests who aren't right here together. But I'm going to start with the guests of our speaker, who will be introduced later, with Laura Thompson from United Way of Virginia Blue Ridge. And where is she? Over here. Okay. And also Kiana Price Marshall, who is back here with United Way also. Then David Nance is a guest of Chris Rouse. So David, if you would stand up. And Barry Bedwell is a guest of Jay Galden, and he's back here. Larry Ammerman is a guest of Harry Zuloff, and they're over here. Jessica Massey is a guest of Milton Hardy, and they're back here at the back. Trish Boyd White is a guest of her, Trish White Boyd is a guest of her husband, Bert Boyd, right here. William Dixon is a guest of Chris Rouse, and he's over here. Dom Ford is a guest of John Ewart, right in the front. Christian Hazelton is a guest of Jay Galden, back here. Andy Sharp is also a guest of Jay Galden. Bill and Diane Elliott are the guests of Bert Boyd, and they're here in the front. Valerie Coles is a guest of Alex Barge, back over here. And Ryan Pacheco is Chris Rouse's last guest, and he's right here near the front. So welcome, guests, and we hope to see you back soon.
Thank you so much, Pegram. Next up, we are going to announce our February birthdays. If you're here today and your birthday is this month, we'd love to have you stand and be recognized. First up, yesterday was Chris Rouse's birthday. Barry Akers, February the 6th. Keith Hartman, February the 11th. Mike Quinn, Valentine's Day, February the 14th. Steve Willis, February the 16th. Kathy Cohen, February the 18th. Tara Marciniak, February the 24th. And Betsy Head, February the 28th. Now, William Dixon is not expecting me to do this, but we're going to play a little birthday song, and I'm hoping, because he has a beautiful voice, he will lift us all up as we sing. Are you ready, Judy? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kiwanis. Happy birthday to you. Thank you very much for playing along with me. I appreciate it. Next up, we're doing what you all frequently hear is one of my favorite things to do, and that is give money away. We are giving 2 grants today, Camp Easter Seals and Center in the Square, and John Montgomery is going to come up and do that for us.
Thank you, President Jean. Bob Haberman is away this week, and he asked me to pinch hit for him in his absence. As you know, we present nearly 30 grants throughout the year to people that go through a thorough process of filling out an application, and our committee evaluates those and as a group decides how to award, in this case, $65,000 this year to our grant recipients. I'm pleased to say that Alex Barge sponsored Camp Easter Seals. That'll be our first presentation. Alex is going to introduce, let me see, I think I can find her name, Valerie Cole. Alex, Valerie, would you come up, please? Tell us a little bit about the organization and what you're going to do with the grant.
Hello. As some of you may know, I was camp director at Camp Easter Seals for 15 years, so this place holds a special place in my heart. I'm happy that Kiwanis has chosen to support them this year. Camp Easter Seals is an overnight camp for kids and adults with disabilities. It's located out in Craig County. They serve lots of beautiful people in a wonderful, beautiful place nestled in the mountains on Craig's Creek. They take campers, folks who use wheelchairs, folks with autism, people with cerebral palsy, just a wide array of wonderful people. They take them swimming, canoeing, horseback riding, just a wonderful place. And I'm happy to have Valerie Coles here to tell you a little bit more about what Kiwanis is supporting with this grant.
Thank you, Alex, for being an ongoing champion of Camp Easter Seals. And it's an honor to be here with you guys today in this room. It's also especially an honor to receive this funding for our camp program. We're getting ready for our 68th summer, so we have a long history of supporting people with individuals with disabilities and their families in the community. We serve about 350 individuals each year through our summer program, as well as some respite weekends in the fall and the spring. So I just want to take a moment to, there's the impact of, serving that many number of people, but just kind of talk about, why it's important to have this program. Number one, the opportunity is really rare, right? So it's just really uncommon to have a lot of recreation opportunities for people with disabilities. And so that's why we have people that come from different states, not just, locally to kind of participate in this program. It's especially uncommon to have an overnight opportunity. So that provides respite for family members as well. We have some campers who've come for over 50 years every summer to our program. So, people keep coming back for a reason. The impact is really, really big. So for all of our campers that cross our grounds, I like to really think that we're not just, accepting them for who they are, but really truly celebrating them for exactly who they are. So we work really hard, all of our staff every year, to make that a reality. So for this project, one of the hallmarks of our activities is the adapted camp opportunities that Alex talked about. So adapted archery, adapted canoeing, just, lots of opportunities to do things that they maybe, can't do anywhere else. So one of our favorite activities by far for the campers is our horse program. So this funding is going to go specifically to that, but really it's not just one little piece. You're really supporting the impact in our entire mission. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Our second grant today goes to Center in the Square. No stranger to this group. In fact, Center in the Square, I guess, has observed its 40th anniversary not too long ago. Been a linchpin of the community that entire time. Kiwanis and Tara Marciniak sponsored the grant, but I understand that Tara is ill today and not able to join us, but she's got a pretty good stand-in. I don't really need to introduce John Harlan, a longtime Channel 10 anchor, and did an excellent job moderating our political forum for the mayors. And we all really enjoyed that, John. John is going to tell us a little bit about Center in the Square. He's the director of philanthropy, is that right? And what the money's going to be used for. Welcome, John.
Good to be here on a little bit of a short notice. Tara was supposed to be here today. I guess she's a regular Kiwanian member and normally attends the luncheons. But as I said, she's not, she's feeling a little under the weather. So she asked me to pinch hit for her. I've been at Center for just about a month now, so I'm still getting things figured out. I'm still doing the news on Channel 10 in the evening and working primarily as the fundraiser at Center in the Square. But you all know what Center does. It is an anchor of downtown. It has been for 40 years now. I think that we can kind of say that the beautiful, wonderful downtown we know and love that's here right now is here because of what started 40 years ago with Center in the Square. And there's a lot of Imagineering going on right now as we start looking at the Center in the Square of the future. And I'm just going to leave you with that little bit of a teaser right now, but there are some plans to make Center in the Square even bigger and better than it's already been. The money that we are accepting here today, and thank you so much, Kiwanis, we greatly appreciate that. This will be going to our Get Schooled program. We just released a new video. This is a video series that goes out to our children all across the area. And it's a wonderful program. It's produced by PBS. They're very highly produced videos that teach children about various aspects of our lives around here. The new one that came out this morning, which children will be seeing, talks about, they went to Pocahontas coal mine in far southwest Virginia. And you can see very graphically, you can go into this old coal mine. It's a tourist attraction now, but it's very well done and educational. And it shows how over the millions of years that the plant forms compressed, and that creates the energy. And then when we burn the coal, that energy comes back out. And I know coal is kind of a dirty word anymore, but it is still a big part of our heritage, and the way that geologically it's produced is quite interesting. So that's a video that I just saw for the very first time. It was just released, and the crew just finished working on that. So I guess the takeaway from that is that that's what this money will go toward, is more videos that can help educate being much more than just a building, but a force in the community, and, as I like to say, a cause-driven organization. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Wonderful. So that pancake breakfast we have is where we raise money to give these grants out each week. Next up, we are going to welcome Lee Osborne, who is going to be doing our foundation contribution prize drawings. So this year, the Kiwanis Foundation is an extremely important part of what we do as an organization. We raise money that goes into the foundation, and then the foundation supports all of our activities in the community. And we just finished a campaign for our foundation, and the theme was 105. So anyone who donated $105 to our foundation during that period got entered into a raffle for prize drawings, and Lee is going to be giving those out now.
I'm Lee Osborne, and good to see everybody today. We like to think that you all already know this, and maybe most of you do, but the Kiwanis Foundation was started in the middle 50s with the sale of some property that the Kiwanis Club had owned, Camp Kiwaniano. And it started with about, I think, $50,000–$75,000 from that sale. And it is now around $1.4 million. And that growth has come through investments. It's come through these types of campaigns and contributions that are made on an annual basis. And it's also come through some bequests that members of the Kiwanis Club mostly have made through their estate and estate planning. So our foundation board is composed entirely of Kiwanis members. That's required in our bylaws. And even though we are allowed to have a broader charitable purpose in our organizational documents, all the money that we contribute comes to our Kiwanis Club. And then the Kiwanis Club, as you know, uses that money towards our community service grants for the most part. So we adopted a strategic plan 5 years ago, 2018, and we reviewed it just recently this past year. Our goal in 5 years from now is to be at $2 million. As I said, we're about 1.4 now. And part of that planned growth is to have annual campaigns and to generate contributions of about $25,000 each year. There will be some campaigns where we may get more. And also we anticipate that the fund will grow just through appreciation. So this campaign was our sort of our end of the year anniversary, happy birthday Kiwanis Club campaign. It used to be done at the end of the year, and we sort of decided to extend it into January. And but we also had a mid-year campaign for the first time this year, and that was very successful. We raised a little over $5,000. Sorry, I just dropped everything. We raised a little over $5,000 in that campaign, and in this end of the year, beginning of the year campaign, we raised around $10,000. So we raised, I think, John, you said a little over $15,000. More importantly, over a third of our club members have participated and contributed in that process. So it is really heartening, as a board member and as president of the foundation this year to see that level of support. And I hope that you all will continue that. We'll give you other opportunities to contribute to the foundation. But as part of an incentive for this campaign, we say that we're going to have some door prizes. And part of that is to sort of encourage people to give a little bit more, maybe than they might otherwise give. So you have several ways of getting the opportunity to participate. One chance came through giving the 105. Another chance came if you gave 250 or more, and a third chance came if you gave $400 or more. And with $250 or more, you also will be listed on our website as a donor of to the foundation. So with all that background, and that probably took a few more minutes than President Jean wanted me to say, but we have looks like we have 11 door prizes. And so, John, what's the process for doing this?
Yes, draw. I'm feeling lucky.
All right. So anyone who's eligible, for however many times you're eligible, you have a ticket in this hat. And I'm just going to go down. Well, I'm going to say what the prize is, and then we'll do the drawing. So first prize is going to be a $50 gift certificate from Lucky Restaurant. And this goes to Vic. Is this a first name or a last name?
Jeff Vick. Yeah.
Is Jeff Vick here? Come on up, Jeff. All right. I'm not sure. Are we taking pictures here, Don? All right.
Just, you can keep rolling though, maybe.
Keep rolling until they're done, or? All right, you got to stay up here then. All right. The next is a $25 certificate from Wheeler's Fast Service and Laundry. Fast Service Laundry and Cleaning, excuse me. And this goes to Ken Briggs. Not here today, so. All right. This is the one you,
It's
okay.
a new one.
All right.
Take this to you.
Mr. Vick is lucky today. Mr. Vick also wins a $25 gift certificate. Yeah, from Wheeler's.
He had 3 entries in the because
Gotcha. Congratulations. If you win 3 prizes, then you better buy a lottery ticket or something. Okay. All right. The next prize is going to be a season ticket voucher from Mill Mountain Theater, contributed courtesy of Larry Kufel and Mill Mountain. And where is that? All right. And this goes to Bob Haberman. Okay.
Here.
This is like a code or something. We all got. All right. Next prize. This hopefully we don't have too many of this name. Okay. We have a ticket to the Rail Yard Dog. Now, the only thing about this is a ticket for this Friday night. So if you can't make it to the game this Friday night, then you might want to trade this or give it to somebody. Short notice. Abram Johnson. Yes, and this voucher is for 2 tickets, so you can take Bonnie with you. All right, next prize. We're going back up to the top. We got one more $50 gift card from Lucky. If I can, here we go. And that goes to John York. I understand you have more chances to win, John. Thank you. All right. Next, we have another Wheeler's $45 gift certificate, and this goes to Mike Bell. Next, we have another Rail Yard Dogs voucher for 2 tickets to the game this Friday night. And that goes to Ken Briggs. we might have to modify the rules on this to one prize only, but at this point, we're doing what we're doing. Ken's not here, right? So do we want to whatever you think? Well, is Ken out of town or anyway, we'll let y'all worry about that. Okay. All right, we are getting to the end here. We have another Wheelers Fast Service. Bruce Swanson. Bruce is not here. Have another voucher for Mill Mountain Theater, Will Dibley.
Yay. He's not here today though.
Okay. All right. And I think our last drawing is for a Yeti mug. Sorry. Contributed by Mike Bell with Anderson Reed. Thank you, Mike. And that goes to Vern Danielson, who is not here. All right. So thank you all. Thank you all very much for supporting your foundation. The real winners are all of our community service recipients. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you to everyone who contributed to the foundation. It's really important to what we do, and we certainly appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to make a couple of announcements, and I'm going to shorten it a little bit. So the two important ones today, Dan and Diane Chitwood are here. They're promoting their Valentine cards. You can make an order with them, pay whatever you want. You pay it to the foundation, and you get a handmade specialty Valentine card for your special someone. So please participate in that. Also, it looks like we have a fun event coming up, and this information's on your table. This is a Sweethearts Anniversary Friendships Dance, March the 1st. Sign-ups are on the table. Please take a look at that. All of the other announcements we have are on the agenda today. You can also find the information in our newsletter and on the website. Most of these are just our typical meetings that we've got coming up. And I want to save a few minutes for brag bucks. I know that Sherry Hartman has a brag buck she wants to make. For our guests, brag bucks are yet another opportunity to donate to our foundation. And folks can come up and promote something, share a personal event with us, and submit money to the foundation for the benefit of doing so.
Sherry Hartman here. I don't want to eat into Abby's time, but I do want to give a brag on Abby, our speaker today, and on United Way of Virginia's Blue Ridge. This agency was inducted into the Roanoke Regional Chamber of Commerce Hall of Fame. Congratulations, well deserved.
I'm Bill Bestfitch. Last week I bragged on the late Jack Tompkins, who was a member of this club for many, many years and passed away recently. And I talked about how Jack got me involved with Roanoke Valley Sister Cities. Two of our members are who I'm bragging on today, although they'll remain nameless, because they came up to me afterward and wanted to know where they could get more information about Roanoke Valley Sister Cities. And one of them actually went on the website that afternoon and made a very generous donation. So today I brought a handful of our brochures along if you'd like to learn more about how to get involved, or really if you just want to know more about our 7 sister cities on 4 continents around the world, please see me after the meeting. Thank you.
Hello, Alex Barge. I work with Brain Injury Solutions, and we have a 5K 1 mile fun run coming up March 1st. We're looking for participants and or volunteers to help out. It's on the Roanoke River Greenway. We had about 200 people last year, hopefully some good weather this year. There's a website if you're interested in running the races. If you're interested in volunteering, come see me. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Chris Rouse, who will then introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, President Jean. Good afternoon, fellow Kiwanians and distinguished guests. How's everybody doing today? Awesome, awesome. I also want to thank David Hartman for the opportunity for the United Way of the Virginia's Blue Ridge to fill this month's speakers. We're very excited about that. And one of the ways we came up with this idea was what Bart Wilner did last year. If you all remember, Bart had RAM. And every Wednesday of that month, a different person talked about a different component of RAM. And I personally found that very informative. So we're hoping to accomplish that same thing with the United Way of the Virginia's Blue Ridge starting today. So I am very honored and privileged to tell you about today's keynote speaker. You already heard a great accolade from Sherry Hartman. Abby, last year in 2024, was also named the Community Builder of the Year. That was a real big deal. Let's hear it for Abby. A little bit more, Abby's career spans over 25 years. She has focused her efforts on developing teams that drive transformational social change. Abby is a native of the Philippines. She moved here in 2002. 18 years after that, she became the president and CEO of United Way of Roanoke Valley. Abby provides leadership to deliver on United Way's vision of elevating 10,000 families to self-sufficiency. So please help me give a warm Kiwanian welcome to Abby Hamilton.
Thank you, Chris, and our Kiwanis friends for having us here. Today's going to be a teaser. So this is the appetizer for the rest of the month. All right, and it's going to have a different flavor from what you probably are used to your Kiwanis meetings because it's going to be interactive. So at your tables, you will have sheets of paper. I want you to hold on to those because that is what we're going to use. And if you don't have one at your table, let somebody know. Laura can run one over for you. They're the single sheets. Yes. Miss Trish, would you mind raising that so that they can see what it looks like? Yeah, there you go. You can do this exercise by yourself, or we can do it. You can do it with somebody at your table. Okay. Now that you're ready, we will go ahead and look at the screen. This is going to be a two activity. So Chris mentioned this already. We are so honored to be here at Kiwanis to be able to talk to you about United Way. And today we're going to spend some time talking about and getting to know the people that United Way serves. In the succeeding weeks, you're going to hear from people within United Way about how we serve the different groups and the households that we help through our giving. Next slide. All right. So this is typical. So our mission at United Way of Virginia's Blue Ridge is to mobilize our community to take action so that everybody in our community can thrive. And Chris mentioned this already. Our vision is to elevate 10,000 families to self-sufficiency by 2030. Next slide. So I already alluded to this. We're going to talk today about ALICE. ALICE is an acronym, as you can see on the right, that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. About 43% of households here in the Roanoke region fall in that category, and they're basically the group that we define as financially struggling. In many cases, ALICE households have jobs, they pay their bills, but they're not earning enough to make ends meet. So they are forced to make some very difficult decisions on a daily basis. So you probably are asking, so what is the relevance of United Way taking on this 10,000 families goal? if we succeeded in helping 10,000 families to self-sufficiency, that actually unlocks about $160 million in additional household income. And it generates over $1.7 million annually in local taxes. Now tell me whether or not that is something that benefits not just the household being served, right, but the entire community and our vitality as well. All right, we'll skip the next couple of slides, Mike, if you don't mind. There you go. So what you'll need, you've got your sheets in front of you. You're going to need a pen. Because what we're going to do is we're going to have you pretend to be Alice for the rest of the time that we have together. Ready? So I want you to take a minute to read about the profile of the family or your household. This is you, basically. So read through that. For those that are joining us online, Mike, if you wouldn't mind kind of clicking through a couple of times. Yep, one more. One more. All right. For those of you joining online, I'll give you a minute to kind of read through your own profile, but everybody in the room should either have somebody named, you're either the Anderson family, the Martinez family, Pollock, or Moore. Yes. Where do these people live? We will take care of that. That's part of the exercise. That's a great question. So what we're doing today is really an abbreviated exercise. If you're ever interested in doing this full scale, it's a good 90-minute exercise, just saying. All right, so for starters, read through your scenarios that you have with you. And like I mentioned, Alice households make very difficult decisions, essentially weighing one thing over the other. All right, so why don't we try to make some decisions? You can pretend to be your household. Mike, next slide. So where are you going to live this month? Take note of your household. I want you to also look at the budget that was available at the very bottom of that profile. So that will be your starting point for your household, whatever that is. Okay, you found your available balance. All right, now here are your options for housing. Choose one and subtract that from the balance that you have. Those of you that are online joining us. And these are actually prevailing rates here in the region. All right, we got a choice. You have your number. Can we move on to the next? All right, next slide. For those of you that have children, I think Anderson and Martinez, if those are your last names, you're going to need childcare. So what are your choices here? Here are your choices. You can either have family or friends or neighbors take care of them while you're working, send them to a childcare center, somebody at their home, or one of you stay home. So the interesting thing about this is that childcare, as you know, is one of the cornerstones, not just for healthy childhood development, but also is essential for any working family. So without quality childcare available, we're not just impacting the quality of our workforce for the future, but the stability of our current workforce to be able to be productive. Okay, have we made our choices? Next slide. What type of healthcare coverage will you have? Next, there you go. Here are your choices. take note again of your household, how many children, all of that good stuff in your situation. So you can either skip insurance, no cost to you. You have basic coverage, high deductible plan, or a comprehensive coverage plan. And the amounts are at the bottom. Pick one, subtract from whatever is left. So in many cases, Alice households have very limited choices on healthcare, kind of like these. So often what they end up doing is they delay care. They don't take their medication up until the point that it has now gotten worse. So that's just the reality of what Alice goes through. Everybody good? Yes. Yes, this would be kind of like a supplement for some of in some cases, yes, this could be like a cost of the supplemental, or in some cases, because of the income, they don't qualify for not necessarily Medicaid, but certain benefits that are available to the public. All right. Next slide. Oh, something happened in the middle of the month. All right, next slide. Choose a color. You get a color already? Next slide. Here's what happens. Okay, if you pick blue, you have a medical emergency. If you pick red, your car broke down. If you did yellow, your utilities got cut off. And if you had green, your appliance or something in your house broke down and it needs to be repaired. Subtract that amount. All right, math time. All right, how did everybody do? Who ended up on the positive end, had money left over? Great. What was your household? What was that? I'm sorry. Pollock. And Pollock is single. He's single. What other choices within Pollock did you have to make to get him to a positive? Yeah, you got lucky, right? Anybody else finish in the positive? Everybody else? Okay, yeah, yes, please. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So least complicated choices. Anybody else? Who finished on the negative? It had nothing to do with your lack of budgeting skills or bad choices. Who wants to share what happened in that experience? Oh, yes, Sherry. Right. All right, so Sherry had the Martinez family. She ended up on the negative 615. Anybody else? So Jackie was saying same family, but she was negative 400. Anybody else who had Anderson? All right, who wants to share what happened with the Anderson family? So Jaden, the Anderson family has the grandma Teresa and the grandson. Okay, so she started off at 671. They probably hit negative at the first decision. She skipped medical care. Yep, and then she had utilities. And then had family and friends for childcare. She had did you end up with a studio? Yeah, she ended up with a studio partner. What was that? 700. All right. So what was the hardest decision when you were doing all of that? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Right, right. Because so what would have been your choices? If somebody was short on money, you could drop to a single vehicle. What other options could you have done if you were in the negative? You drop down to one vehicle, pass on healthcare. Yep, drop healthcare altogether. Any other different choices? No food. Just go to a Kiwanis meeting, you'll get food. Move in with family. So you have families that would have been doubled up to save money on housing. So looking back at the experience, if we look at the housing, food, like the types of jobs, did you notice the types of jobs that folks had? So the jobs that you see right now are also the most prevalent jobs here in the state. But they don't also pay a whole lot, right? Childcare, transportation, healthcare, emergency situations. In the full exercise, you would have done all of this. So as you look at some of these things, the one reality that we know about Alice families is when they make decisions, it impacts their ability to make another decision because all of these things are interconnected. And so when we're working towards solutions, they also have to be interconnected and based on collaborative effort. So as you were saying here, really united is the way that we will be able to solve some of these problems and address the needs of Alice. All right, we're now going to spend some time to just look back and think about, okay, how would United Way have helped in this situation? So in the issue of meeting their basic needs, United Way operates the Community Resource Hub, where United Way's donations power our community health workers to essentially provide direct assistance and connections to basic services. So if they didn't have information about if they needed childcare, if they needed transportation or other needs, a community health worker would help them navigate through those resources. So United Way's donations actually deploy about 5 community health workers in the community and also support about a network of 20 organizations that also have community health workers. Next slide. So in the area of early learning and after school care, here are several ways that United Way would be able to help the households that you had. I mentioned earlier that childcare is probably like the second highest cost within any household budget if you had children. And one of the important things that United Way is able to do, United Way's donations, works with a partnership of a public and private childcare providers that is now able to provide quality care for about 7,000 young children here in the region. In addition, there are about 400 youth that's able to access quality after school care that's integrated with mental health supports because United Way partners with them. Now, in the area of employment and workforce, okay, you can budget all you want, but if there's no money to budget, right? But you're still going to get stuck. So one of the things that we want to be able to do as we're lifting families to self-sufficiency is to help them find jobs that will allow them to sustain their families, put them on a trajectory where they can earn more. So in that area, United Way is actually working again with partners like those that are involved in our on-ramp collaborative to eliminate barriers to people who are going through workforce training, looking for jobs, etc. So whether that barrier is a basic need so that they can continue and finish training, or if it's childcare coverage during the first few weeks that they're working so that before they can get paid. Those are the kinds of things that United Way's partnerships, these are the barriers that we address in order to make households successful. And we also work with a national partnership called My Free Taxes. So it's online free resource for people to file their taxes. And United Way has been part of this effort and has already saved about $260 million in tax preparation fees because households have that. And it's also important to note that a lot of households that are ALICE depend on what they will get back from their tax returns, right? Like the credits or any extras that they might be able to get. So it's part of the income or part of money that they are hoping to get back. Next slide. So health and well-being. This is also similar to what I mentioned earlier. Our community health workers offer the personalized support to connect families to supports that they need. And that work actually reduces healthcare costs. So if you think about the choices that you had to make in terms of skipping insurance, skipping your medication, or not doing, not receiving proper care, you know, if you had a CHW that was helping you to meet some of these health outcomes and to stay on track, every investment made to a CHW actually generates $3 in healthcare savings costs. So good deal in my opinion. And then at the bottom was just a prescription savings program, a national partnership that we have that helps people access medications regardless of what they earn. And so the cards have already generated about $100 million in prescription savings here locally in our region. And we've helped about 60,000 residents with that program. So in closing, what do you do with this information now? So 3 things to take away, I hope, is to tell your network about this experience and to tell them about the realities of ALICE and what kinds of decisions they experience every day. I'm pretty sure you know them, you run into them in the course of your daily living. But often their voice is absent from all of these different conversations. So it's important for us to kind of give a voice and advocate for that. It's also a great opportunity to partner with United Way in advocating for policies that actually impact households that are ALICE. One great example, I think it was last year or a couple of years ago, you know, the tax-free weekend where families right before school starts, you know, people buy all of their school supplies, where there was one year that lapsed. So several months after the state hadn't renewed that commitment for that weekend to be tax-free. It just kind of fell through the cracks. So what United Way ended up doing was emailing every delegate and every representative that we had at the state level to make sure that got back to their attention. They did it again. It was several weeks late, But this is the kind of advocacy that we pay attention to because it would have been meaningful to these households had that service not been there. And then, of course, finally, the opportunity to support United Way and its partners in the work of elevating families to self-sufficiency. I'm going to go back to what I said when we started, which was, if we are able to elevate 10,000 families, and I hope that this is a commitment that we all can make. You know, we're generating $160 million in income that people would not have had. This is how important this work is, and this is how impactful it could be. And so I again thank you for the opportunity at Kiwanis to give you a little teaser about who we serve. And in the next coming weeks, you'll hear more about and dig in depth about the work that we do in each of the areas that I talked about. So thanks again, and I'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
We have a small honorarium that we would like to present to United Way. Hopefully that will give a little bit of help to, yes, exactly. And I'm sure Abby will stay after the program and answer any questions that individuals may have. Thank you all very much for being here today. Thank you for sharing your attention with us. And for that, we are adjourned.